If ever you don't have access to this province, please reach out to Giselle. She'll be able to add it for you. And we will go through the additional tabs as well. If ever, chances are the additional tabs, you do not have them. We're going to go through them. And I'll explain to you why we haven't put them at large to everybody, because basically they don't work in all provinces. But the first reports we're going to go through are the ones you're used to. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to lift your hand or anything like that, or interrupt me, unmute yourself, and I'll be able to ask any of the questions. Okay, thank you so much. So like I mentioned, simply go to the toggle on the top right corner and go to Quebec. Now I'm going to just start off with the reports that you are used to, especially if you're in Ontario, PI, or Nova Scotia, or even if you're purchasing data in BC, you already have some of the data that's already available in those provinces. So the first report we're going to go through is the product search on top. I'm going to use EXO as an example for this call. Now, as you know, in most provinces where you have been adding rep manual entry, you have access to your top stores, so basically the accounts that carry your product. So if you click on top stores in Quebec, it won't be based on rep manual entry. It will be based on actual sales data and actual daily store inventory. Okay, so in your columns, remember, in your columns, you have access to a lot of different data sets and data tools. In this province, it's actual data. So if you look at sales current period, it will be the sales volume estimated for that month. Now, same thing applies to rolling 12, the sales estimated for the last 12 months. Sales current period, you have access to the sales of the previous month here, sales per month this year, sales per month last year. Now, what's really important is that we've been tracking inventory since January of last year. Okay, so technically everything that has to do with a current month can be compared last year to this year. A rolling 3 also will be a full 3 months versus a full 3 months. Okay. Now, so basically as of February of 2021, we have a full year of data. And then moving forward, as we move forward in time and we get to February next year, we'll have 2 years of full data. Okay. The way we estimate the sales in Quebec are based on inventory fluctuations. So daily store inventory, we scrape the SQDC website on a daily basis. If inventory goes up, we estimate the sales. If inventory goes down, we actually calculate the sales in between. So day over day, and we basically add up those estimates and we add up those changes. So they are estimates. Keep that in mind. They aren't actual sales. So once you've pre-selected and selected the data sets you want to see, don't forget to set your preferences and you'll have access to the data at the bottom of your screen. Now, the store inventory is very, very important. You can easily create gap reports. Again, the store inventory is daily. If you type in 0 in store inventory, you'll automatically create a gap report. Same thing applies to if you click on the magnifying glass and you want to know who has less than 20 units, for example, in the store, it will also automatically filter. Any questions on the top stores? I think everybody's kind of comfortable with that report already. Now, if I go to the product search and I type in EXO again, and I click on the supplier or on the agent, these reports will be fully loaded up with a lot of data again. What's neat with Quebec is that we've actually separated the online store sales versus the governmental store sales. The private store sales channel, of course, will be empty because it does not exist in that province. So if you remove the private store sales, for example, in this case, share data, you will have government store sales, online sales, total sales, and dollar sales. Okay. Again, the same thing applies. We only have a year of data since February. So the month over month or the 3 months will really be year-to-year comparisons. So you do have access to competitive data, not only your SKUs, the whole market when it comes to industry data. And if you click on the dried flower category, you'll have access to all the SKUs. And in the for-year view, if you click on the product code, you'll have access to month-over-month performance with the historical data and the historical pricing at the beginning of launch SKU. And since we've been tracking the website in February. The products are just to recap: performance by store, by agent, by supplier, by category, or specific year view for a product you click on. Any questions? Sorry if I don't see the... No questions? Pretty clear up to now? Okay, the same thing applies to market report summary by category. So you do have access to the same data more on a macro level. You can column, and you'll have access to the data. Now, where it gets really interesting is when you go to a store itself. So if you do have sales reps in Quebec, you can click on sales rep list and access your rep's territory. Now, the main difference in the My Stores tab, instead of having distribution as a rep calculated method, or eventually in the next 3 weeks, that's inventory scrapping of the private stores, here in the columns, you can really compare your own performance versus the market. So XO sales in this case versus the market sales. So here for this territory, you can see that Montreal, St. Hubert, the industry is up 308% rolling year. Again, remember, it's not a full year. And here XO is up 194. So if you do want to add just rolling 3 in this section, you can actually compare how the market has been doing in this particular store, minus 2.7 year-over-year comparison for the first 3 months. Now XO is down minus 41.6%. Now, if you click on the account itself, so here if I click on the SQDC store 77014, you will have these two new tabs. Okay, so my products and category analysis. These tabs are on purpose not available in all of English Canada except for PI and Nova Scotia, because we already have access to those data and those tabs in those provinces. So if you are a manager, or you have access, or you want specific people to have access to the Quebec market and to these new 2 tabs, you must contact us and we will add it. Please keep in mind, though, that these 2 tabs, even though you're in BC or Alberta, they will still appear. So it's important to kind of ignore those tabs where the data isn't currently available. So if I go to the My Products, then you'll have the performance of all of your SKUs for that particular store. So here I know that XO's number 1 SKU is Legume, 3.5. There's 239 units as of this morning in the account. And since last year, this product is up 87.4%. Thanks to that. Now, if I want to know all of my SKUs that have 0 inventory, again, I just have to type in 0 here for that particular account. You can actually see the SKUs that had sales last year and none this year. And if I go to the category analysis tab, this is where it gets really neat. Again, because you're comparing how the industry is doing. So here are sales reps. Sales rolling 3, XO rolling 3. And here I can see how the dried flower category is actually down in that account. It's actually down also for XO in a rolling 3. And if I click on the dried flower category, I'll have access to all of the SKUs that had sales in the last 2 years in that account in particular, and I can see if they're over or underperforming versus my own SKUs. Okay, so you can really drill down and see who's performing, who's overperforming. The top 100 SKUs are there for you to check. Now, the same thing applies to the all stores and licensees. So the My Stores or the all stores and licensees works in the same way. So the all stores and licensee will give you all of the accounts in that market, so in Quebec. And in the column section here, you have access to how the market is doing versus how your agency is doing on the right. Just leave this one load. And if I remove a few columns, because I'm on a small screen right now, and I add the market, current month, rolling 3, I can see for all of the accounts in Quebec if they're over or underperforming versus my own. For the 160 accounts we have in that market right now. So again, like I mentioned, summary by category, product search for industry data, top stores, has all the data of the account. Click on any account number, and you can drill.
Everything that I paid for, that I paid for.
Yeah.
Just pull it out.
So, do you get these data straight from the SQDC?
No.
No, so it's us scraping the SAQ website on a daily basis and estimating the sales.
Okay.
The SQDC does not currently sell data outside of sending it to the government, so it's not publicly shared right now. I think Maxim.
Yeah. I just asked a question. I did.
Yeah.
I'll just pull down my computer. Can we export those reports in Excel?
Yes, all of these reports, you just have to click on the Excel button here. Export all data. So what I need from you guys, if I'm still available for the next 40 minutes if you have any extra questions, but it's really who doesn't have these 2 tabs and you want to give these 2 tabs to. We can always give a list of users or whatnot, but if you can just send us a list of who you want us to add these 2 tabs for the account level data. And all of the market summary by category you should already have access to. Same thing for sales team report, sales rep list, all stores and licensee you already have access to, as well as the product search you have access to. Now I just thought of another one. There's a distribution report in Quebec that does work on inventory online. So this will tell you what the distribution of all your products are across the province, by rep or overall market. So based on the inventory we track on a daily basis, you have access to the actual inventory without having any reps entering anything. So slightly different versus the other provinces, but pretty straightforward. Under weekly reports, sales and inventory, keep in mind that we do update this on a daily basis, so you will have access to your daily / weekly sales on this tab without having to wait for the month to be completed. So here in this case, I could see week 1 of Excel's performance, again, based on estimated sales.